Hello there and good morning. Joe Biden has been told to keep his nose out of Northern Ireland politics. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. Speaking at the Tory party conference, the UK post-Brexit negotiator Lord David Frost warned the US President Joe Biden to stay out of talks over the Northern Ireland Protocol. Frost also called Biden nothing more than an interested observer. Although the concept nowadays of Joe Biden being interested in anything other than shambling about and sniffing follicles is debatable. And Frost's words will no doubt just rattle about inside the Biden skull in search of that elusive grey matter until they find an ear hole to exit from. And as to Biden's understanding of the multifaceted Belfast Agreement that the Northern Ireland Protocol threatens to tear asunder, well, he obviously hasn't got a clue. Either that, or he is partisan in the extreme in the favour of the EU and the Republic of Ireland. And as I've said before, by default that must also apply to all his advisors, ambassadors and negotiators too. Otherwise the US Biden administration would be even-handed over the protocol, understanding that the pressure being exerted by the EU right now is the real and only risk to peace in Northern Ireland. And if you doubt that, just listen to what Lord Trimble says about it. Lord Trimble is a former First Minister of Northern Ireland and a major cog in setting up the Belfast Agreement and the peace process in the first place, something he won the Nobel Peace Prize for. Here's what he wrote recently in a letter to President Biden. The Northern Ireland Protocol has not only subverted the main safeguards within the Belfast Agreement, causing civil unrest and political uncertainty, it is also damaging the Northern Ireland economy, disrupting supply chains, inflating prices and diverting trade from our main market in Great Britain. And pointing to the Belfast Agreement that says that the constitutional position of the people of Northern Ireland must not be changed without the say-so of the people who live there, the consent principle, Trimble wrote, "The Northern Ireland Protocol totally destroyed this consent principle to the detriment of the unionist community." And not only that, the leaders of 4 rival unionist parties in Northern Ireland have got together to fight against the Northern Ireland Protocol, and the 4 of them, the Democratic Unionist Party, the Ulster Unionist Party, the Traditional Unionist Voice and the Progressive Unionist Party, issued a joint statement saying, "The huge disruption of trade in the supply of goods from Great Britain to Northern Ireland has caused unnecessary supply chain disruption and unacceptable and unsustainable levels of bureaucracy and barriers to trade within our nation. The resulting diversion and reorientation of trade is destructive of Northern Ireland's place in the United Kingdom and will result in an economic realignment which is unacceptable." And on top of that, the DUP has threatened to pull out of the Stormont executive within weeks, unless the protocol is either changed or scrapped. The leader of the DUP, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson, has also written to the Speaker of the US House of Representatives, the Democratic Party politician Nancy Pelosi, enclosing a copy of the Belfast Agreement. Sounds like it might be the only copy of that agreement in the US, because no one over there appears to have read it. Can you imagine what would happen if the roles were reversed? But before I get into that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Super Thanks, Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. Now, can you imagine the uproar over the pond if the UK tried to insert itself into, I don't know, US Indian affairs, for example? with the result that it sparked unrest. And yes, after all this time, the US still has to have a Federal Bureau of Indian Affairs. And just last year, the people of the Navajo Nation were reported to still be fighting for political representation in the USA, with The Guardian reporting, the Navajo Nation brought a lawsuit against San Juan accusing the county of racial gerrymandering under the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The tribe won. The county was forced to redraw its election maps and in the fall of 2018, for the first time ever, elected a majority Native commission. They could then fight politically to retain their lands, which were being systematically stripped from them by the overrepresented non-Navajos. Can you imagine the political fallout at the time if a UK Prime Minister had been asked by the US press for their thoughts on America and got the answer, "I'm Navajo"? You get my drift. Now you only have to pick up the papers to realise that the Northern Ireland Protocol is the spanner in the works of the peace process. And you only have to look into the newspaper archives to see that many people were warning that the protocol would cause problems. And that was the time, if they were really interested in the peace process, for US politicians to have a quiet word with Brussels, London, Belfast and Dublin and get them all to ditch the protocol idea. But no, even Donald Trump's envoy, Mick Mulvaney, took the side of the EU and the Republic of Ireland over not having a hard border on the island of Ireland, but no mention that I can find of protecting the interests of the loyalist and unionist community as well. Now, thankfully, Lord Frost, speaking at the Tory conference yesterday, said that he will soon be sharing the legal texts of how the UK would be overriding the protocol unless the EU saw sense and got round the negotiating table. Will it be over by Christmas? He asked. I think something will be. I personally believe there comes a decision point, probably in early November, when we know whether an agreement can be reached or not. And an EU source said, "We think Christmas will now be the moment of truth." But as I said, the DUP leader Geoffrey Donaldson has already served notice that he would collapse the power-sharing agreement, with the Telegraph saying that a DUP source is warning that this could be as soon as the end of this month. And the EU, despite all the evidence to the contrary, is claiming that the conditions for the UK to trigger Article 16 and impose its own rules have not yet been met. All they have to do is listen to the unionist community to find out the real truth. But they won't, because their aim is to destabilise the UK, trash the Belfast Agreement and gain complete control of Northern Ireland, whatever the consequences for the peace process. Because in their eyes, the expansion of their single market is all that matters. But the Eurocrats forget that they also signed up to Article 16. So the time for talking and waiting for Brussels to see sense is over, and we need to ignore the likes of Joe Biden and get on with dismantling this wretched protocol. So what's your opinion on the protocol? Please like and comment below.